Hello everyone, welcome to the Autoimmune Dietitian YouTube channel. My name is Annie. I'm a registered dietitian and I work with people struggling with autoimmune diseases. In my work with my clients, I help them use both food and lifestyle as a way to improve their symptoms and hopefully get them back to where they were feeling before they were diagnosed. So today we are talking about food sensitivities, and uncovering food sensitivities is a really important part of the healing process. This is because food sensitivities can cause low-grade chronic inflammation in the body, and especially in the intestinal lining. While there are some common foods that most people with autoimmune diseases tend to be sensitive to, there are others that may be completely random. So today I'm going to cover food sensitivities, what they are, and how to figure out if you have one. Before I jump in, I just need to attach a disclaimer to this video that the information in today's talk is not the substitute for the diagnosis, treatment, or care of disease by a medical provider. This is for informational purposes only. Please consult your qualified health professional for any changes you make to your medical care. Okay, so let's kick it off by talking about what a food sensitivity is. So food sensitivity or an intolerance, which is again something totally different, they both occur when a specific food is eaten and it causes a reaction. So in the case of a food sensitivity, an immune response is activated and chemical mediators or chemicals are released. And these mediators are what cause symptoms of a food sensitivity. So things like, histamine, cytokines, prostaglandins, and so forth. These chemicals are released from the immune cells, and they can, again, cause these symptoms that have, multiple different variety of reactions in the body. So in a food sensitivity reaction, the body recognizes the food antigen as an invader and proceeds to attack it. Much like your body would if you were to contract a virus or bacteria. So when the white blood cells attack, they release these chemical mediators that fight inflammation. And over time, continually ingesting this food causes your immune system to always be on attack because, again, your body is recognizing it as an invader. So it's like you're just ingesting a virus every time you eat that food. This sustained inflammatory response causes white blood cells to settle into the surrounding tissues and cause even more damage. So how do you know if you have a food sensitivity? Well, diagnosing food sensitivities can be really difficult. The onset of symptoms from food sensitivities is typically delayed up to almost 72 hours even. So it really makes it hard to pinpoint what exactly triggered those symptoms. So there are food sensitivity tests. I see lots of them advertised on my Instagram feed. But you should know that these tests only look at one or two antibodies, which are usually called IgG or IgM or IgM, I guess. And the problem is there are so many more mechanisms than just these two that can trigger a reaction. So the test might not really be capturing everything. Also, to make it even more confusing, IgG are usually present when you eat food in general. So they can actually indicate a tolerance to food, not an intolerance. So the traditional method of uncovering food sensitivities is an elimination diet where you remove common food triggers for about 3 to 6 weeks and then slowly add them back in one at a time to test for a reaction. Although they are considered the gold standard for figuring out food sensitivities, elimination diets can be very time consuming and may not work if that trigger food was not eliminated to begin with. So in my practice, I use what's called the mediator release test, or MRT. It is an endpoint test that captures all chemical mediators that are released from your cells in response to 176 different food and food chemicals. So it captures more than IgG and IgM. It actually, it's more non-specific, I guess, is how I describe it. So if your body is reacting to that food, it will capture it. And then it basically ranks your foods from least reactive to most reactive on a scale. And, obviously the more mediators are released from your cells in response to that food, the more reactive you are to that specific food. And then typically I put people on an elimination diet, starting with the least reactive foods and then working your way up to the more reactive foods. Also important to note that intestinal permeability or leaky gut, as most people know it, go hand in hand with food sensitivities. So when someone has a leaky gut, they are more likely to have a food sensitivity. And this is because leaky gut increases the chance that an undigested food particle is going to sneak through the intestinal lining, and then your immune system will therefore attack it. So, what are some common foods that people are sensitive to? Within the autoimmune space, there are a handful of foods that many people are sensitive to. The first one that I see a lot is wheat. So, when I test for food sensitivities, wheat commonly comes up as a reactive food. We all know wheat contains gluten, which a lot of people also have an intolerance to. Now, intolerance is different than food sensitivity, but they both can cause inflammation. Gluten and wheat contain a protein called zonulin, which actually activates leaky gut by relaxing those tight junctions in between your epithelial cells. So just by eating wheat, you could be contributing to your own leaky gut and causing food sensitivities. Soy is unfortunately another very popular food sensitivity and a really tough one to avoid because it is like in almost every single packaged food that you come across in the grocery store. Soy contains a few components that some people may be reactive to, which include glycoalkaloids and agglutinins. These are just like compounds that, either you react to, hard to digest, that type of thing. Soy is also a commodity crop and generally not grown in a sustainable manner, so you have to be a little bit careful about where it's sourced from if you do eat soy. Corn is another one that comes up a lot in food sensitivities. Corn is one of those foods that generally is hard to digest. It also tends to be genetically modified and grown using a lot of pesticides, which can also irritate digestion, the intestinal lining, throw off the microbiome, all those types of things. And then dairy. So for most people, dairy is an intolerance, but it can also be a food sensitivity. Dairy products have really mixed results in terms of causing or lowering inflammation. So this one definitely depends on the person. And then the question is, are food sensitivities a forever thing? And they aren't. You can actually grow out of a food sensitivity and do it pretty quickly. I mean, within the course of a year, I would say. So the point of doing an elimination diet is to take a break from your reactive foods for a period of around 3 months. And your immune system has a memory, but it can forget that it used to attack these things. So when you re-challenge your sensitivities after a period of avoidance, there's a good chance that you'll tolerate that food again, at least in a small quantity. The other important component to this is, making an attempt to heal your leaky gut. So this will prevent future food sensitivities and hopefully increase your tolerance to the ones that you already have. So just to recap today, we focused on food sensitivities, what they are, how you uncover them, what are common food sensitivities for people, and then, are they a forever thing? So if you are interested in learning more about your own food sensitivities, maybe you want to do testing or try an elimination diet, I love helping people do this. Please go to in my YouTube profile, there'll be a link to book a free discovery call so you can chat with me and figure out, the best course of action for you. I also have lots of free downloadable materials on my website, AnnieRubin.com. That should also be linked in my YouTube profile. Lastly, I have a weekly newsletter that comes out every Thursday. So if you're interested in getting, weekly tips and tricks on how to manage your autoimmune disease, please sign up for that. If you don't follow me or subscribe to my channel, please do subscribe. I put these videos out every week. I'm really just trying to educate you all on living gracefully with your autoimmune disease and using diet and lifestyle as tools to help you feel better. So thank you for joining me today, and I will see you next time.